And we also know how Krishna rescued Draupadi. Krishna rescued Draupadi by increasing the length of her sari, of her cloth, right? Now here, if ever you are writing about this part in your work, what is happening here in the society, the disturbing of a woman, where it is adharma, it is adharmic, whatever they have been doing in the presence of everyone in the court, disturbing of Draupadi. And no one dared to go against that injustice. Not even the husbands of Draupadi dared to go against that injustice. And then Draupadi, prayed Krishna, and Krishna saved her. Now, there was one event in the Mahabharata where once Krishna got hurt in his hand, and Draupadi, being the friend of Krishna, she couldn't see that injury. Donc, she tore her sari, Indisha sari, and Linata so wound the injury, right? Much later, then there was the disturbing of Draupadi, where Krishna gave her the merit of her action by helping her in that episode of the Mahabharata, right? Krishna has been the savior of the Pandav in many ways. For example, Duryodhan sent the sage Durvasa and his disciples to the forest when the Pandav and Draupadi, they were in the forest. Why did Duryodhan send them to the forest? Because they know that the situation of the Pandav in the forest, they don't have much things, and someone, when they comes at your place, you offer the person something to eat, to drink, in hospitality, right? But the Duryodhan knew that the Pandav could not do that in the forest. So Duryodhan sent sage Durvas and his disciple to the forest to visit the Pandav. Okay. His aim was definitely not right. And it happened that Draupadi and the Pandav already ate at that time. They had, they had a divine vessel with them, a divine vessel, which is known as the Akshay Patra, divine vessel. They were begging not to have food, and there are days they don't. When they beg, they get nothing. Donc, they ask food from that vessel, the divine vessel. They pray for food, and they get food, right, in that vessel. So that day they already ate. The condition was to use that vessel only once. So they already ate the food from that divine vessel. Now, when the sage Durvas and the disciples came, there was no food. How to welcome them? And it is not proper. It doesn't look nice. Someone comes at your door and the person is hungry and you have nothing to offer. This is one dharma, hospitality towards the guest. And here, in this case, it is sage Durvas towards the Brahman. So there was one grain of rice left in that, one grain of rice left in that vessel. And Draupadi looked at that and she prayed to Krishna to help them so that they can feed the sage Durvas and his disciples. And Krishna, of course, helped them, gave them food, to give to the sages. So this is one event, one example. You can write how Krishna saved them from the anger of the sage Durvas and disciples. Krishna also helped to bring peace between the Kaurav and the Pandav. Before the war, Krishna went to see Duryodhan to convince him to have peace. Why should we fight? Why should brothers, the Kaurav and the Pandav, fight? So he went there to convince Duryodhan to have peace, but he rejected that, right? So Krishna went as a messenger, but unfortunately that did not happen, and we had the war of the Mahabharata, right? The Mahabharata war. Now, Arjun and Duryodhan seeking the help of Krishna. Before the war, they were doing the preparation. Both of them needed the help of Krishna. Now, Arjun is from the clan of Dharma. Duryodhan is Adharma. Did Krishna help Arjun only? No. He also helped Duryodhan. This is, in terms, maybe an example to be taken, like helping people. Of course, ne pas qu'à exagérer, bien sûr, but we need to help. We can't judge someone, oh, you are a bad person, so I'm not going to help you. If we can help, we help. If the person needs help, we help. So Krishna helped Arjun here and Duryodhan. Duryodhan took the divine army, the great army, because he needs soldiers to fight. But Arjun says that, Krishna, I need only you. Arjun opted for Krishna, and Krishna became the charioteer of Arjun as well, and the guide as well, advisor, you can say. But Krishna said that he was not going to get involved directly in the war. He would not fight, and he didn't. But he advised the Pandavas what to do, what are the things to be done on the battlefield. On the battlefield, Krishna became the preacher of the Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna was not willing to fight, he refused to fight. So Krishna gave him the message of the Bhagavad Gita, which we are going to study as well in detail. If we have to sum up the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about the Raja Yoga, it talks about the Karma Yoga, the path of action, Gyan Yoga, the path of knowledge, and Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, right? Many times you'll see that Krishna saved Arjun and the other Pandav also on the battlefield. For example, you have Shrutayudh, who hurled a divine mace towards Arjun. And once he hurled that, he threw that, he can't take it back. That is the one of the quality of the divine weapons. So then Krishna stepped forward and he received that on his chest. So this is one example how he helped Arjun or the Pandav also. Another example is the king of Bhagdat, where he used the divine weapon from Narkasur. He got from Narkasur. The Narkasur is the demon which Krishna once killed. So he threw that to Arjun, but then Krishna intervened. And he welcomed that. Krishna welcomed that weapon, and that weapon became a garland of flowers around the neck of Krishna, right? So Krishna made that ineffective. The unexpected sunset. Abhimanyu was the son of Arjun. Abhimanyu died on the battlefield. He died on the battlefield. And Arjun promised that the next day he would kill Jayadratha. Jayadratha is the one who killed Abhimanyu. So Arjun promised to kill Jayadratha before sunset. If he could not do that, he would kill himself. He would commit suicide, right? So the next day there was the war. Everyone in the Kaurav clan section, they were all protecting Jayadratha, so that Arjun would not be able to kill Jayadratha and he would commit suicide and Kaurav diminued. It was about to have the sunset. The sun was about to set, Siddhartha. Sorry. And then Krishna here, he intervened. He helped Arjun. How? He created a sunset, a fake sunset actually, not the real one. He created by his Maya, by his illusion, he created a sunset. When he created a sunset, so now Jayadratha, who was being protected, now Jayadratha comes in front to fight and to tell Arjun that he, as per his promise, he had to commit suicide, to kill himself. So once Jayadratha comes forward in front, Krishna made that sunset disappear. It came to the original time, Kichete. And then Arjun killed Jayadratha. Now the question, was that correct? Was that fair? As per the code of war, it was not fair. When Krishna said he was not going to help, not to help, but to participate in the war, that way he participated in the war. Giving advice how to fight is something else. But here he created the sunset. He did that. So it is against the code of war. But the other side of the coin, it was important to kill Jayadratha, right? It was important that Jayadratha should be defeated, and this had to happen. So there are many events like that where Krishna helped them. Nityosigit killing, Nityosigit's the episode, the killing of Jarasandha. Was that right or not? Now, on the side of the Kaurav, there was Bhishma. Bhishma, the great grandfather of both the Kaurav and the Pandav. Bhishma, it was quite impossible to defeat him. Quite impossible to defeat him because of his valor, because of his strength, of his intelligence, and he was a great warrior. So Krishna advised to place Shikhandi in front of Arjun. That was the plan to defeat Bhishma. Krishna advised to place Shikhandi in front of Arjun. When Bhishma saw Shikhandi, Bhishma dropped his weapon and Arjun shot at Bhishma, right? And of course, Bhishma, he lied on the bed of arrows till the end of Mahabharata. Bhishma is in power. He would die whenever he wants. So he waited till the end of Mahabharata and he died. So that way, was it correct? Definitely not fair, right? But why Shikhandi? Shikhandi, c'était so, comme tu racontes l'histoire Mahabharata, if you remember. I told you there were three sisters, Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika. Ambika and Ambalika, they married the princes of Hastinapur. Amba loved Bhishma. Amba loved Bhishma, but Bhishma he promised that he was not going to marry, to remain a bachelor throughout his life. So Bhishma rejected the proposal, the love of Amba. Then Amba vowed to take revenge. She died early in life. She took a second birth, a next birth. And her birth was in the form of Shikhandi. He was kind of neither a man nor a woman, right? But usually dressed as a lady, as a woman. So when Bhishma saw Shikhandi in the form of a woman at that time, dressed as a woman, he dropped his weapon because it is against the code of war to attack a woman, right? So that was definitely not fair, but Bhishma needed to be defeated. Because if Bhishma by defeat, Pandav cannot win the war. This is one point. Secondly, Bhishma was a very nice person, a very good person following dharma. But something went wrong now. What? He didn't participate in the Mahabharata war on the side of Kaurav. Dynamics are fair. We are free to act. We are free to choose our path. But we need to know the consequence. If someone is doing injustice, will we take the side of that person of injustice or justice? And here Bhishma chose injustice, adharma. Alors, s'il y a une raison derrière ça maintenant, qui fait qu'il choose Kaurav parce que he promised to take care and to be by the side of Kaurav throughout his life. Because of his promise, all this happened, right? So we should know well before promises. Now we have the story of Ashwatthama. On the Mahabharata field, the Kurukshetra field, the Mahabharata war, there were two Ashwatthama's. One Ashwatthama was an elephant, right? And the second Ashwatthama was the son of Dronacharya. So it happened that Ashwatthama, the elephant, died on the battlefield. Now Krishna used that to defeat Dronacharya. Krishna told Yudhisthira to go everywhere and to tell everyone that Ashwathama, the elephant, is dead, which is true. This is truth. But Krishna killing fair, when Yudhishthira was telling Dronacharya that Ashwathama, the elephant, is dead, quand il était là pour dire le mot gaja, gaja means elephant. When he had to say the word elephant, Krishna blew his conch, the shank, so loud that you could not hear anything. So Dronacharya here could not hear the word elephant. L'intensis Ashwathama is dead. So his son is dead. He believed his son is dead. So he dropped his weapon and he was defeated. Right? So that was a way to defeat. How far it is as per dharma. You have to discuss that. Now, you have all these examples. It is not necessary to write all the examples in a work, in an answer. You choose what you want, what you remember, what you can write. It's up to you. You do that. After the battlefield, the Pandav accompanied Krishna to Hastinapur, where they met Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. They were not on the battlefield. And here they fell at the feet of Dhritarashtra and asked for forgiveness, because, of course, they have killed their 100 sons. Now, Dhritarashtra had a great hatred for the Pandavas, but Sitisuban, like his sons, no? So he embraced everyone one by one. But when he was about to embrace Bhim, Bhim was the one who killed Duryodhan. And Dhritarashtra était bien attaché avec Duryodhan parce que Duryodhan, c'était ce premier garçon. Attachment. So Krishna sensed that Dhritarashtra would do something to Bhim. Donc, killing fair, Dhritarashtra was blind. Krishna stopped Bhim to get embraced by Dhritarashtra. Krishna placed a statue there that Dhritarashtra embraced the statue, and then he embraced that statue so hard that it broke. So actually, Dhritarashtra wanted to harm Bhim, right? So again, Krishna here, he helped, he saved Bhim in a way. And then they went to meet Gandhari. They touched the feet of Gandhari, get God blessings and all. But of course, she was not able to control her emotions because all her sons died, right? So she cursed Krishna. According to Gandhari, Krishna was responsible for that destruction of the Kaurav. So she cursed Krishna that his whole family would be eliminated. But that is bound to happen. One day, sooner or later, will be eliminated from the world. Eventually, in the long run, it happened that the clan from where Krishna belonged, which is the Vrishni race, eventually they were destroyed. They fought among themselves, actually, and that clan, that race was destroyed. So Krishna here, that is his contribution in the Mahabharata. After the Mahabharata, he went to Dwarka, where he ruled there in Dwarka for approximately 36 years. And then his mission was over on earth. Vishnu comes for a mission. When the mission is over, he has to return. He has to go. So his clan got destroyed. And he was sitting, that was the last moment of his life. He was sitting under a tree, and there was a hunter whose name was Jara. He thought that he saw the feet actually. He thought that it was a deer from a distance. He saw something, he thought it was a deer. He shot an arrow, but that was the feet of Krishna. And that was the end of the mortal body of Krishna. And Krishna returned to Vaikuntha, right? So this is his contribution in the Mahabharata war. So whenever you are reading, you are studying the Mahabharata or the characters of the Mahabharata, make sure to connect that to dharma or adharma. That is the main purpose here, to connect to dharma or adharma if needed. For example, Sinuka's law, Duryodhan, right? Now we have Yudhishthira also, who had a major role in the Mahabharata. He was Ajat Shatru, that is the one who had no enemy. He was Dharmaraj, the one who followed dharma as it is, right? For it, we saw the example when he went to tell Dronacharya Ashwatthama is dead. That was the truth, but that was not the fair play of Krishna, right? So he contributed in the Mahabharata war. After the death of his father, he became the role model of the family. He was the elder. He became the role model of the family. But there was he had a bad quality, you can say, a bad quality, and that was gambling. It is said that to do what Yudhishthira did, except gambling. Because of gambling, if you remember our explanation, because of gambling, they had to go to the forest for 12 years, right? So he was a person full of compassion, full of love. This is also dharma. One meaning of dharma is to have compassion. He also tried to prevent his brothers from killing Hidimba, from killing Jayadratha, but eventually they were killed, right? So that was his compassion and love, right? But nevertheless, he is seen as a weak character, as a weak hero compared to Arjun, right? Mainly because of his habit of gambling, mainly because of that. And also, you know, when you show too much of compassion, it's not correct. Because people will take advantage. And this is what happened with him. He was invited for the first game of dice, Linalen in PG2. There was the disrobing of Draupadi. He got everything back. He was again invited for the second game of dice. He said, we are going there because they were brothers. And he wanted also to show that he was not a coward, right? So that is also not correct. Having compassion is good, but we need to know, to distinguish, to know where to use the compassion, right? But he was a great leader. He was like the father figure of the Pandav, right? Now, there was a time where Yudhishthir was cursing himself that because of him, his brothers had to come in the forest, Draupadi had to come in the forest, but we can't do anything. It already happened, right? Now, this is one important event. I was scrolling for that. In the Mahabharata, the Pandavas, they were thirsty. Yudhishthir told his brother Nakul to go and fetch water in a lake which was nearby. Nakul went there, but he did not return. Then Yudhishthir sent Sahadev. Sahadev also did not return. One by one, everyone went there. Bhim went there, he did not return. Arjun went there, he did not return. Finally, Yudhishthir said, Limem Yali. He will see what is happening, why his brother did not return. Right? So when he went near the lake, near the pool, he saw that his brothers were lying there dead. Right? And he thought of quenching his thirst firstly. But then he heard a voice, a heavenly voice. Right? The voice said that your brothers died because they did not pay attention to my warning. What was the warning? Actually, it was the god of that lake, right? Yaksha, the demigod of that lake, the owner of that lake. The voice said that you have to answer my questions before you drink the water. So Yudhishthir accepted. So mon frère qui fait, they were unconscious there parce que they did not accept that condition. So Yudhishthir accepted to answer the questions of Yaksha. There were many questions you will see at the end somewhere. So it is somewhere, just to come back to here. He answered many questions. One of the questions which he answered was, the question was, he was told that he would get only one brother. Okay. Lipukav, Yaksha Pukav, Ravi, Feravi, only one brother. And Yudhishthir had to choose which brother. That is a difficult one, right? So Yudhishthir asked for the life of one of his step-brother. Ta cinq frères-là, au fait, de partie from same mother, right? Nakul and Sahadev, they were the son of Madri. Okay, the son of Madri. C'est-à-dire quoi? Pandav, so Papa, Pandu, Senade Madam, Madri, and Kunti. Right? So what Yudhishthir answered is to revive one son of Madri. His logic behind that was, one son of Kunti is alive, Sitaja Yudhishthir. So it would be fair if one son of Madri remains alive, right? So that was justice. That was dharma. And that was the wisdom of Yudhishthir. And Yaksha was very pleased with Yudhishthir, and then he restored the lives of all the brothers finally, right? So this is a bit of Yudhishthir. Throughout the Mahabharata, we have seen how he was also protected by Krishna, right? So you can go through that, read his character. Pas seulement ça, if you have anything, other thing to read also, you can.